today's session, so I will discuss more about observability. So when I actually created this slide, so when I look at in the eyes of team now, so I see airplanes. So how can I actually mimic this topic to Top Gun, right? So imagine our infrastructure today, right? I think mostly we are looking at the high-speed rates of network data, right? Traversing into Mach 2 or Mach 3. So same goes with, if you've seen Top Gun, right? So basically, the airplane or the fighter jet is traversing at Mach 2 or Mach 3. So high speed, right? Breaking the sound barrier. So same goes with our infrastructure. All of the data running through our network is based on the high speed transmission of our data. So now I want to highlight on why the observability is basically is a foundation of cyber resilience. So actually, for 20 minutes or so, so bear with me. So I'll discuss more of it now. So hopefully I can give you some insights and be very helpful, and you can actually use these strategies in your organization. So again, for most of the pilots right now, right, aviators, so basically they have doing some pre-flight briefing, checking the fuels, checking the speed, checking the altitude. 3 numbers, right, before they can actually take off. If there's something wrong there, so they cannot fly, they cannot take off. So same goes with our board, right, regarding of cyber decision, right? So they need to have 3 numbers. So 72% of organization right now, year on year, so actually they're experiencing some rise in terms of cyber risk. So according to World Economic Forum, Global Security Outlook of 2025, so for us, again, it's very difficult for us to dwell into because of the rising threats, right? So giving that number. Secondly, of course, 4.44 million, that's actually the global average cost of a breach, right? So according to IBM, right? And then, of course, most of the traffic right now is encrypted, right? So it's actually good for privacy perspective, right? So, but how about when we bought our security tools 5 years ago, how they can actually being affected in terms of how seeing the invisible traffic or the encrypted traffic, right? So again, giving you some imperative efficacy at the bottom. So the problem right now is giving you complexity is actually outpaced visibility. So I think Sir Pineda mentioned earlier, the second point there is about how you can actually have an effective visibility in our infrastructure or our organization. So from traditional monitoring perspective, moving to a deep observability, right? So later on, I will discuss on how we can actually help organization by providing you deep observability, right? And of course, with this, it will actually equate to better outcomes. So not seeing just only for our guessing what's really happening in our infrastructure, but at the same time, we're actually looking for a measurable output, KPIs, business KPIs, right? So that's actually the one what we want to be, or we want to implement to our organization to share with the organization, is what would be the business outcomes. Again, leaning toward Top Gun. So their space just get a lot more crowded. So what's the meaning of this slide? So again, mostly of organization today is basically hybrid, fragmented, diversified. So we're not just relying on physical data center anymore, right? Some of our workloads moving from different platforms. We're using different technologies. We're using AI, we're using OT. So AI is the new thing right now, it's the trend, right? So mostly we actually automate our processes through AI. So that's one. Second one is, as mentioned earlier, encryption is everywhere. So without encryption, again, our data is exposed, right? And of course, what's the meaning of this? From our security perspective point of view, because cyber criminals right now, they're using encrypted traffic as their, or they want to hide identity through encrypted traffic. So that's one. Of course, supply chain interdependencies. The meaning of this, of course, 54 of larger organizations right now. So they're depending on third-party vendors, right? and it will actually provide the third-party security risk. And again, like I mentioned earlier, AI is a new trend right now, so it can actually work both ways. So as a defender, and of course as an adversaries. So AI versus AI, right? Correct. And then lastly, of course, some of the regulatory fragmentation. So some of us, right, some of the organizations, they are actually relying on different regulatories, right? So maybe most organization, FSIs, government, there's a certain compliances that we need to adhere, right, and become more fragmented in terms of our cybersecurity resiliency. Okay, and of course, welcome to the danger zone. So again, for different cyber risks, so ransomware is actually still the number one top of mind of our CISOs. So that's just only kids in the basement ransomware. So basically, ransomware is it's already industrialized. So there's a potential opportunities that we can actually subscribe to a ransomware as a service. And it's also available in the dark web, right? So you can purchase, so no need for the cybersecurity adversaries to create their own malwares, but rather we can actually subscribe to these actions or to these services in the dark web. Second one is cyber-enabled fraud. As mentioned by Sir Alvin earlier, right? A PASA law will be implemented this coming June 30. So it's related to fraud activities, phishing, voice cloning, right? Or actually providing some social engineering to conduct some fraudulent attacks. Third one is, again, supply chain disruption. So this top three actually covers the 80% of the cyber risk. Now, what our CISOs, right, our CIOs need to consider, right? And just looking to the right, so there are some threat vectors. Actually, this from 2025. So there's actually increase in terms of deepfake-related attacks, right? So sometimes there's a video call, right, Zoom call, pretending that this is your CFO and I need to transfer the money. So there's a lot of real use case for this, right? So some organizations, they are paying billions of dollars because of this deepfake-related attacks. 47%, of course, generative AI still is top of mind of our CISOs, right, globally. And then, of course, again, it's not only just technology-wise, but also geopolitical tensions. So they're using cybersecurity, right, cyber, to conduct their geopolitical intentions, right? So imagine Iran versus US, China, so and so on. For aviator's perspective or pilot perspective, so you cannot engage what you cannot see. So imagine I'm a pilot, I'm actually maneuvering the airplane, right? So there's a lot of different adversaries behind me, right? So here, if actually I will incorporate this to our environment, right? So 97% of security leaders saying they actually have a problem, challenges in terms of the visibility, right? So imagine they have a lot of different infrastructures, different platforms. So they have a difficulty on how they can actually unify those views, right? And then again, you heard from me earlier, it's 95% of traffic is web traffic. Again, it's actually better for privacy, but then again, web traffic is actually used for hiding the identity, just not to contact. And then 58%, again, this is actually a problem for most of the organizations. So again, when we bought our tools 5 years ago, so we're just actually securing our perimeter. But again, our infrastructure, our technologies, there's a lot of advancement, right? And your typical endpoint security tools can actually say that my endpoints, right, my servers are secure. So there always 1% that the traffic or that the threat will go outside, right, or will be compromised. So that's why east-west traffic is actually a struggle for most of the organization. So they're actually protecting the endpoints, but not actually traffic traversing from one server to another or endpoints to one point to another. And then again, especially the AI right now, so we need to identify the usage of AI, right? Because what if one organization uploaded some confidential data, financial information, and then it will be leaked to the dark web and use this information to actually provide some damage to our organization. So again, we need to identify what's the blind spot regarding the AI traffic within our organization. So what are actually the strategic implementation here, right? So again, with the pilot feeding some half of the radar, so it cannot depend the formation. Same goes with our board, right? So imagine if we are already seeing half of the data coming from our infrastructure, so we cannot depend. So again, visibility is very important in one organization. So again, we have our different tools. It's, again, I don't have any problem with these tools. They can protect you, right? They can protect the network, they can protect the endpoints, but then again, that 1%, so we need to identify. That's why full visibility is actually a foundation for cyber resilience. Have you heard this? Have you watched Top Gun?
Yes.
Yeah. I was not born here yet. Sorry.
Me too, me too.
So what's the famous line? Maverick always say.
Marami daw sinungaling na eh.
So you never leave your wingman. Actually, that's the most common phrase, right? That we heard to this movie. So imagine the pilot is your leadership, your leaders in your organization, and your wingman is actually the observability. So how can I incorporate this slide? So imagine the leadership is the pilot, maneuvering the airplane, right? And then of course, there's your wingman, seeing everything in the sky, seeing at the back, seeing at the side, then giving you information on whether to attack or to deplete, right? Some of the attacks coming from the enemies. So that's actually how can I incorporate a wingman to the observability, right? So again, I want you to focus on this phrase, never leave your wingman. And of course, for airplanes, right? So we have this head-on display, right? So are we seeing the altitude, the radar, the fuel, so and so forth, right? What if the pilot is seeing 6 instruments instead of 1? It's very complexity, or it's very complicated, right? So na-attack ka na, so you're still seeing from your head-on display. So again, for modern enterprise, the same thing, right? So if we have siloed, different approach on how we actually monitor our infrastructure, our organization, so we're looking at 1 or 2 to 10 dashboards now in our environment. So it's very difficult for us to see what's really happening to our infrastructure. So maybe threats are already littered around in our infrastructure, and then we're still seeing from those dashboards that we have, right? So that's actually the main purpose of this slide is we want to have a unified view, right? What's really happening to our network. So how we can do that, right? How we can do that strategies. So by providing you 3 things, right? Acquire, so seeing everything. Enrich, so not just collecting all the data points that we have, but rather we improve the data, we enrich them, giving you information, giving you insights, what's really happening, and then deliver this data to your security strategies or your security defenses or tools, right? So again, I want to highlight here is a unified, a ground truth view of every flow traversing to your infrastructure or your organization. Talk to me, Goose. Ito pa isang linya dito sa Top Gun. Again, So a pilot, so if I'm not seeing this kind of adversaries, I will always talk to Goose, my wingman, right? So I can actually translate this into business outcomes. So again, these are some of the technical signals that we want to emphasize. Again, hidden is lateral movements. So it surfaces in minutes and not months. So what are actually translated to? So we can actually lower down our pitch cost. So imagine from my previous slide, the amount of cost when one organization is actually breached. So it's 4.44 million. In the US, actually it doubles that number, right? So again, encrypted traffic visibility continues. So again, we will provide a different perspective on how we actually acquire those data, those telemetries, to the encrypted traffic. So it's better for us to see everything. So again, dependency mapping across vendor. So related to different multi-cloud or hybrid cloud infrastructure that we have, infrastructure. So on how we translate this is actually resilient revenue. So again, we will reduce the impact if we have continuous visibility to different platforms. And lastly, I want to highlight here. So remember again the HUD, right? So again, we're looking into one unified view of visibility. So that's actually the important key points here now. So tower has eyes on you. So every pilot, there is a tower, right? Providing you some directions, providing you some directives on what to do, right? So same thing with within our organization. So examples of some compliances, no? We have the European Union, these two. We have DORA. Dito si DORA na may backpack. So and again, for United States, there's ECC. So the common thing here about this compliances is all about the foundation is depressibility. So continuous visibility is actually the foundation of these compliances. Right? So I think for the Philippines, so we have different compliances also, DSP, the cybersecurity plan of the ICT, so and so forth. Again, how we can secure if we don't have that effective terms of the telemetry that we're getting within our infrastructure. So again, based on our perspective, so we created a Top Gun curriculum for words. So it's up to you if you want to use this, right? So again, we conducted 4 pillars here. So full radar sweep, so meaning to say, we want to capture everything, what's really happening to infrastructure, know the threat envelope landscape, of course, governance, right? So we need to identify what are the risks, what are the top priorities, and what need to be secured. And then, of course, train like you fight. So continuous for conducting security drills, right? Conducting different vulnerabilities assessments, and of course, knowing the adversaries. So again, train like you fight, and of course, different every flight. So once you conducted some of the activities now, vulnerability assessments and so forth, of course, it's very important for us to do the review. If these activities that we conducted is very effective or not. And this is also applicable if our organization is already breached, right? So we need to debrief and what are the other factors that we want to improve within our security resiliency. So the need for speed, right? And this is actually the afterburner. So you can see $1.9 million is your savings. So what do you mean by this now? So if we have better visibility, we are actually providing deeper visibility in our organization. So we can actually have measurable wins. We can lower down mean time to detect or response. We can actually detect threats faster and effectively. And we can actually lower down your spending of your tools, right? So maybe we can actually lower down from 5 to 2 or to 1 again. And then, of course, it can actually help you to have stronger audits and compliances, right? And of course, again, customer trust. It's just an important thing that we need to remember. Okay? So in closing, again, for us leaders in the room, always don't leave your homeland, right? So we will actually provided some fight plan for the next 90 days, run the radar check, right? Assess your environment, assess your services, applications, whatsoever, and then watch the speed indicator, right? So again, I think most of us are already adopting this. So we need to have provide some insights, whether nasali regarding MPTD or MTPO, right? So to provide our board some KPIs, the performance indicators that our environment is secure, and our strategy is actually protected. And then play the simulator. So again, you can actually talk to your board, to your leadership, right? That again, technology is not actually is the main thing here now. We also need to consider the governance, right? The people, right? So all of this technology, people, and governance. So everything will comes into better security resilience in our environment. So with that, so I would like to thank you everyone for listening, and I hope I give you some very good insights, right, regarding deep observability.
Thank you, John. Henry.
You can call me Henry. Henry.
Thanks, Henry, for that very wonderful and insightful talk about cyber resilience and observability. So, one key message is don't leave your wingman. Alright, so let's see. We'll open the floor for any questions for any of our executives and participants. Okay. Anyone?
Yes, sir. So probably we would like to understand Gigamoon's offering in terms of it being a security solution. So what category of solution? Because most of the companies here already have EDR, they have LDR, they have CMS, all these security tools already present. So when we look at security tools, that's correct, no? Most people do it fragmented.
Yes.
They don't look at it as a full solution, but as patches of solutions. So when we look at Gigamoon, you have like a lot of features that's already present in some of the solutions that they have. So how would you position, like how would we understand Gigamoon so that when we go to a board, we won't be doing double spending, we won't be doing overlap security. How would you tell us or to talk to the board and this is what Gigamoon is different from the other solutions so that we would be able to find the right place, to understand, of course, the tools that you present and the other tools later on.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good question. So again, for Gigamoon perspective, so I'd like to highlight this first. So Gigamoon actually is not a security tool, right? So we're actually bridging security and network.
Yes.
Right, so we're in the middle. So yeah, so we're actually providing the foundation for the tools to become more effective. So like I mentioned earlier, deep observability is all about providing no blind spots in our infrastructure. So actually for us is we want to emphasize that if you don't have any full visibility or deep observability in place, so how can you secure different segments? So again, you mentioned about EDR, you mentioned about let's say NDR, right?
Yes.
For EDR, it's just focusing more on endpoints. So again, we cannot say 100% security, right? So there's always 1% that will actually compromise. So for that, 1% is whether if you have better visibility, especially east-west, lateral movements, or even cloud traffic, right? Or AI traffic.
Yes.
So with the observability in place, right? So again, we are in the middle. So we are gathering all those information, insights, telemetries, and then we're feeding those data to the tools itself, right? So the tools become more effective, and there's no blind spots that will actually analyzed by the tools. So that's actually one of the strengths of the observability. So it's a very unique, it's a very unique solution. So we cannot actually categorize as a security or network. So again, observability is a unique platform in today's cybersecurity scenes.
Yes. Okay. Thank you.
Did I answer your question?
Yes, yes.
Thank you. Can we have one more or?
Just
Okay.
like
Add lang. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Go
hello.
ahead,
Yes,
Ms.
I
Jen.
am Jennifer Tan. I am also from Gigamon. I'm the Regional Sales Director and Country Manager. Actually, just would like to add to what Henry has said. In fact, just recently, um, we are happy actually to announce that Gigamon has been officially part of the Gigamon telemetry pipeline category. This is new. And we've been recognized as a top leader there, which actually validates our position in terms of the strategy and innovation, bringing forth the marriage of MELT, metrics, events, logs, and traces, and network telemetry to bolster the securities stack. So yes, we're not a securities tool, but like Henry said earlier, we're actually bridging, I would say, having the network insights to actionable insights where we can use that as a security function. So yeah, as what we said, innovation comes faster if we build visibility and security together as a foundation rather than an afterthought. So at Gigamon, that's actually what we do. We prepare organizations to a future-ready be future ready of intelligent threats to deep observability.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jen, for that. Yeah. Okay.
Morning, Sharon.
Hey, Joe. Great tie.
Look at them, blissfully unaware. They have no idea that there are threats their security and observability tools simply can't see.
Leaving their hybrid cloud environment vulnerable, which means they could get caught with their pants down.
Only Gigamon can supercharge your security and observability tools with network-level intelligence, allowing them to detect unseen threats and mitigate risk.
Okay, any questions?
Without deep observability from Gigamon, your existing tools can leave you with true vulnerability and a false sense of confidence.
Bill, sorry to interrupt your board meeting. We've been hacked.
Hacked? Really? Not on my watch. Gotcha! Ooh, you joker, you!
Don't get caught with your pants down. Get Gigamon and get deep observability.